Custom made in
You know the song?
Yeah, the Smurfs.
Is it really?
It sounds like it.
Kind of does, actually.
You're ready to
All right,
Kinda
guys.
80s.
I like the
Welcome
twinkle
back
at the
to
end.
another episode of MITA Unshackled. You got your host, Ari Munoz, and
Rita Valenzuela.
we're here with our friends from Grove Rags. We have Lance and Ryan with us. We're going to learn about a little bit what they do and what they got to offer. When did
Awesome.
you guys actually start with Grove Bags?
Wow, I'll go first since I'm the new guy. It's been 3 months this week.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to the squad.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. I knew about the brand for some
a good
time,
team.
so been
Hell
a fan
yeah.
for a while. Yeah.
So did they find you or you found them?
They found me. So a good
picked you.
courtship. Yeah. There was a mutual relationship between myself and another individual and the CEO here, Jack. And I'd known about Jack. I think we'd heard about each other over the years, being in the industry. It seemed like the timing was right to maybe come on board.
Hell yeah. We
Here I
love
am.
that. What about you?
I've been here for a little over 2 years now. So knew Jack and Grove Bags. They were clients of mine with the previous
You got to push yours
venture.
closer.
Like that. We good? I've been with Grove Bags for a little over 2 years. Known the company, and they were clients of mine previous to that. And so came on a little over 2 years ago. And to Lance's point, it's been pretty explosive and fast growing since then.
Yeah.
Super cool. Well, can you guys give us a little prequel to your story? How did you guys start in the cannabis industry? Why? What led you here?
You want me to start?
Yeah, amazing.
I'm older, so mine's
Yeah.
gonna be
Oh,
longer.
well, that's what I said.
We'll start
got
with you
that.
then.
Well, I grew up in Northern California, Marin County. So if you ever heard of 420, where the Waldos are from, I grew up next to where the Waldos are from, in San Anselmo. It's right next
Like
to the
striped
Nice.
Waldo?
Yeah, I'm thinking
No,
stripe.
I'm like, I didn't know he had a home.
That's home.
He's everywhere. I thought.
So so I came up in the traditional market, I guess, if you will, growing up around hippies. But you very familiar with flower from the pre-legal days, and actually, it's how I saved up money to go to college.
Hell
Kind of
yeah.
a weird twist, though. Studied criminal justice in college.
Okay.
To
Not
learn
that
how to
any-
not
Catch
get in
yourself.
trouble.
Yep.
Catch
And I always
yourself.
tell people when I speak on panels, I say, they're like, well, how'd you end up in cannabis? I'm like, well, lower risk of being shot, but higher reward. There's better pay in it. But no, I've always been passionate about the plant, and got into the legal industry of all places in Colorado. Cut my teeth in the media side of things with the
Nice.
cannabis, and then went and ran media for Weed Maps for a few years, building up their brand.
Awesome.
Love
Do you
And
know
then,
Andre?
I do know Andre.
Awesome.
Yeah, and he moved home to Arizona, right?
Yeah,
There's a little something going
go
No,
on
he's
in
in
there.
Zach.
Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, he is a really, really good guy. There's a few people I miss from Weed Maps. There's a few I keep in touch with. There's one that I've employed as a contractor for us. But it was interesting times because it was is when we were still in the Wild West, Prop 215. So the medical phase of California.
Exactly, yeah.
So it was pretty crazy. I mean, we were printing money at Weed Maps for sure. But there were some really cool guys that came from traditional markets.
Like
Yeah.
yourself.
Great
Yeah, I
events,
enjoyed
too.
it. Yeah, very good events. So.
So then was you were working in the media and then you just hopped into Grove Bags, or?
I was working in the media. I segued with another company that's also in the ancillary space, Bovida, and built them up, and then moved on to Green
Nice.
Flower. Went back to media for a minute in the industry, and then more recently was with Green Bros, which is actually based out of here in Nevada. And they start out in California, but they manufacture automated trimming equipment. So
Very
it was
cool.
fun in media, but I want to get closer to the plant. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a grower myself. I've got some land race genetics in my backyard. I have another 8 weeks to go.
Outdoor?
So yes,
Okay.
only outdoor.
Big outdoor
yeah,
fan there.
Yeah, huge outdoor fan.
Where are you based?
I think it's inside. I'm in SoCal, in a little town
Okay.
called Thousand Oaks,
Super
just
dope.
North of LA. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Love
So-
California.
What about you, Ryan?
Oh gosh, the journey began. So I'm originally from Virginia. Journey began back late high school in the traditional market as well. Pursued that through college. Was really passionate about that. Went to school for business administration, and then right up long time graduating. Everything went legal in Colorado as well, and so ended up graduating, moving out there to get involved right from the ground level. Transition from the traditional market to the licensed market. And was involved in a grow for multiple years down the southern part of Colorado when I was plant touching, and then worked more back to the ancillary side. So that's
been a
really
ride.
it. The passion,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. I still remember telling my parents that crazy pipe dream, and they're like, "You're gonna do what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do this." And
This is what
10
we're
years
doing.
later, yeah, still here. So
That's a
Yeah.
true test on how cool your parents are. Because I thought my mom was super dope. Like she is, whatever, teenager, 20s back in the 60s. I'm like, and she always was like the hip mom. Everyone thought she's like my sister. She was so that kind of,
That's like my mom
Hell yeah.
too.
right?
Yeah.
And
It's
then all of a sudden
awesome.
I'm like, yeah, I'm in this industry. Oh, you're really going to be in that industry? I'm like, yeah. She's like, "You okay?" I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that.
I wanna
I
tell
hope you're
everybody.
okay with that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always best to have a mom that's like a sister.
Yeah. Pros and cons. Sometimes you want a mom, not a.
Right.
You're too honest with them too.
Yeah,
I swear.
yeah,
like you tell them
it's-
everything.
Yeah,
Need a
exactly.
little discipline
So,
here and there.
Yeah.
pros and cons, but
That's funny. So
Little
what is
reckless.
Grove Bags? Can you tell us a little something about it?
Yeah, sure. To kick it right off. So what we've done is we invented a proprietary packaging film specifically for cannabis. And so all of our bags are made out of it. We have cultivation SKUs as well as point of sale. And the bag itself helps to create and maintain that ideal 58 to 62 RH, no burping, no humidity packs. So you can use it as early as cure, run it all the way through long-term storage as well as point of sale.
So how did you guys come up with that concept?
So that would actually go back to Jack, who is our founder. So he is from Cleveland. He is multi-generation in the family. His family is multi-generation in the packaging world. Jack, of course, was a cannabis advocate, and so those two worlds came together. Jack has an older brother who was using medical marijuana to treat different diagnosis for himself and personal use, and they had a huge issue with quality, maintaining quality, long-term storage, and so the two worlds really came together. Jack spearheaded that. It took about 2.5 years to dial everything in, and then it's just been taking it to the market since then.
Was it always a
Sweet.
bag?
It was always a bag. It was always a bag. There was multiple renditions and, of course, different formulas and getting it dialed in, but it's always been a bag.
That's super dope.
Grove bag. That is.
Grove bag, yeah. Not just a bag. It's Grove bag, yeah.
The Grove Bag.
not all bags are created equal. That's it. That's it.
That's so funny. So, do you guys have ones that have like the humidity is like a little bit higher than other ones, or are they all kind of the same bag?
Same bag, yeah. It's, as far as where you want to maintain that humidity, obviously there's different levels that we want it to be at during the drying process. Most of us run around like 55% during the dry phase. But when you get into the curing and the long-term storage, really ideally it's the upper 50s, lower 60s. So our range is 58 to 62, and that's kind of a happy medium. So
Okay, so how did you guys figure that out? Did you guys like trial and error, just put plants in there, or do you actually have to like get like a humidifier tester?
yeah, you can, yeah. Growers are OCD
Both.
like me,
Both.
put hygrometers in. I have a
A
hygrometer in one of my bags.
hygrometer. There
Yeah.
we go.
The technical term. And so you can definitely measure. No, it's just kind of been, it was a trial and error, I think, in the industry in general. Some people do like their flower drier. If you go over to places like Amsterdam or Barcelona, where you can go into social clubs or into coffee shops, the bud's too dry. It's like
Yeah.
50%. I mean, you don't take a grinder to Europe if you go to.
It just breaks up like powder.
Yeah, you just crumble it up with your fingers, and it's just too dry. While it might be loud, might feel the onset even more so. From an experiential, as far as not ripping your throat and obviously just killing you in a
Burning.
consumption space, burn it. Unless, obviously if you're hitting the bong, it's a different story. But for some of those older people that roll up J's, it definitely factors. And just found that going too dry is not advantageous. And then there is a threshold on the top end. Unlike other forms of things that are consumed like tobacco, where it has nicotine in it. So you can have it at any moisture level, and the nicotine will keep the microbial at bay. With flower, cannabis specifically, you don't want to go over 65%, or else the microbials pop off, and you don't want to smoke mold.
Yeah.
So we know not to go up to, so that 62 is that happy kind of cushion to keep you away from that danger zone.
Very cool. So, would you only put like your dry products in the bag, or if somebody just like cut off a piece of their flower from their plant and just put it in the bag, would you say it would dry it?
No, you technically want to go through the traditional drying process just because there's so much bound moisture and water weight that's still existing in that. And no matter if you're, it's interesting, like the Israelis over in Tel Aviv, I visited some of the operations there. They literally cut every bud off of the stem and dry it on cookie sheets, which I'm not a fan of. That's not the most advantageous. I go the opposite end where you do a whole plant hanging. Yeah. And so that you're able to get as much of those nutrients into the buds as possible. So you don't really need a bag per se at that time, but the fact that you can drop it into a bag straight after in, again, auto cure, like Ryan was saying, as opposed to having to burp bottles and jars every day. Huge difference, time saving, money saving. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Definitely saving the planet.
yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yes, our bags. That's a
Been
good point
chirping
too,
for sure.
right? Ryan can speak more to this. He's on the sales side, but that's the thing I think we need to educate people is, there's a bigger carbon footprint that comes out of making a mason jar than one of our bags. Yet you can reuse both of them a countless amount of times. So the fact that ours is actually designed and engineered for cannabis versus a mason jar is designed for, I don't know, your grandma's strawberry jam or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Glass is porous. I know. I mean, I'll wash my jars. They still smell like bud. Or I'll wash my jars I make homemade salsa from. They still smell like salsa.
Yeah.
It's because the glass is so porous. So it's really not an ideal environment. It's not opaque either. And there's three elements that really are detrimental to not being able to sustain the quality of cannabis. And it's the level of moisture, its exposure to light, and its oxygen. So you talk about a mason jar that might be fairly sealed, but not quite as sealed again as our bags when you actually do the heat seal to it. They're not opaque, so you have exposure to the light. And then also, again, not having that proper moisture level within that environment. So we definitely win on the sustainability
awesome.
side.
Yeah.
How many bags have you guys produced?
Oh my
Ooh,
gosh.
gosh, forever? Oh my gosh.
But I want to know.
Forever? Gosh,
Forever?
I mean,
The demand's pretty
tens of
high,
millions,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in all 50 states now, of course.
Uh-huh.
The licensed market, we do a lot of the B2B business. We still have home growers and enthusiasts in your non-licensed markets now, and then we're in
You're international.
57 countries.
Yeah,
58
57
as of
countries.
last week.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's crazy how
impressive.
much we're growing internationally. I just got tagged by an individual over in Germany. Met him while we were doing a tour over there. We went to
At ICBC.
Yeah, actually, we did ICBC.
that's awesome.
We did Mary Jane. We did HamCon, which was the first cannabis convention in Hamburg, which is the second kind of busiest hub, if you will, for cannabis in Germany, behind
Yeah.
Berlin. And then before that, we did Cannabis Europa in London. But one of the individuals we connected with in Germany, he literally posted up on IG and tagged me this morning, and they're already using it in a pharmaceutical capacity for their medical cannabis over there. So yeah, we're winning one country at a time, but it's helping people understand the like, again, not all bad. I mean, I'm just as bad when I was providing flour to people in the traditional market. I mean, I use Ziploc bags. I didn't know any better. That's just what you did,
Yeah,
Stole your
market right
mom's
there,
sandwich
yeah.
eggs. Yeah.
Yeah, it held it,
You know?
so you
Yeah.
didn't think too much
Yeah.
else about it.
Yeah, it's just a vessel to get from A to B, and you never realize that, like, you're hurting the plant. Like, you're losing the potency, the quality, the consistency, So
Yeah.
I'm a dork, yes. Give me that look. I'm a total can.
No.
I'm not a can of snob. I'm a connoisseur.
I
There's a
was just
difference.
thinking about why I have my weed in a little grocery bag at home and in my purse right now when you guys are sitting here next to me and I could be having it in a grove bag.
You should.
You gotta fix that after this.
Yes. We better.
Get you all set.
Yeah, you said sandwich bag and I was like, it's in my purse.
Yeah.
I know, that's why I thought of it. I really thought of you too.
I was just sitting here smiling. I'm like, yeah, that's
Pretty
me.
sure she has a Ziploc bag in her purse right
I
now.
do. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
That's how we
Losing
did
the
it.
grow bags.
That's how we did. And Ryan will vouch. Ryan and I both come from it. I mean, I had friends that would be getting packs on the East Coast, and they're like, I would talk to them about, the ways that we used to manipulate the atmosphere with like tortillas or lettuce, or
Okay.
some guys with orange rinds. And obviously,
Yeah,
you're,
fan leaves if you have them.
yeah, exactly. And my buddy's like, I was wondering why there's always tortilla chips in my packs when I was getting them in New York. I'm like, those aren't tortilla chips. Those are remnants of the tortillas of someone trying to fluff up your weed.
So funny.
But a lot of people still do those old
I
school
was just saying that is
things.
hilarious. Yeah, I remember doing that.
Get
Yeah.
a gram and some snacks.
Keeping flour in their freezer. I'm like, what are you
that's
doing
crazy.
freezing your flour? That's a travesty. Like, really? You freeze your
Wild.
beer too? Like, it just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me.
I mean,
so.
some
Yes,
people
we
put,
do.
yeah, some people put their liquor in the freezer.
Like,
Yeah,
I
well,
do.
vodka, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't freeze.
Yeah. That's so funny. Would you guys have any like closing thoughts, motivational words, maybe like a hardship that you've had to face that you can help people overcome?
Yeah, something that's just like an inspire message you have for the viewers out there.
Gosh, y'all are great. Well, myself, being a cancer survivor, I'm a huge advocate of the plant.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Always an advocate, and so are we as a company. But the one thing I'd say to people, because we come across, and I'm not to speak for Ryan, but most people in the industry and in this community come across people that are interested in joining this community or this industry. And the only thing I'd say to them is, like, if you're passionate, come join this community, because I run into people that are like, I've always been passionate about flower, but I work for FedEx, or, I'm a salesperson, or I do marketing for a media company. It's like, we need people like you. Don't you understand? Like this, we need scientists, doctors, lawyers, logistics, security. We need everybody. And the fact that you're passionate about the plant, it's not a requisite. I mean, we did an audit. It is just a questionnaire of the employees at Weed Maps, and 34% of the people didn't consume cannabis. Just because you don't consume doesn't mean you can't be passionate.
Yep.
I mean, just being
True.
passionate about how it's making an impact on people's lives,
Oh,
rather for
everybody.
medical or recreational,
agree.
right?
Yeah.
That's for me. That's
Yeah.
the case for me. I'm not a consumer myself, but
Yeah. But you can still support
but I'm
the cause. and
passionate.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
The
helped so
idea.
many like medicinal
Yeah.
usage of it. You know, it's just very inspiring. So, yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I'd say is for people out there that are listening, definitely follow your passion. And if it's making a difference, making an impact for something bigger, for making an impact on a global level in disrupting things like big pharma or big alcohol or big tobacco, like this plant is doing, come join. We need people like
Yeah.
you that are good vibes. There's a reason
Good
why we have that
vibes.
mantra as a community. It's all about good vibes.
Literally,
Well
that is the stigma.
Yeah.
Vibes.
What about you, Ryan?
Good vibes.
You have a message that you wanna?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll piggyback off what Lance was saying. I mean, now's the time to get involved and jump in. I mean, especially with orgs like yourselves, people have these more established markets where they can look back on and get involved and have all these resources. But right now, too, for half the country, this is all still very new. You have the East Coast, and there's a lot of states out there that have no legal market yet, and so really, it's just getting started. I always tell everybody, like, I've been doing this for 10 years. I still feel like, A, I've never really had a job, but B, I'm always learning something new. There's some of the basic things that don't change, but on the business front, there's always something new, all these new ideas coming through. And so, yeah, now's the time to get involved and to jump in.
Awesome. Well put.
Go for it,
And
man.
thank y'all. Thank you, MITA, for having us on here.
Yeah,
Thank you
for
for
sure.
This was great.
Thank
Yeah,
you for
thank
coming
you guys for
on.
getting
You guys
on.
rock. You guys have been rocking it for years.
You guys are rocking
Killing
it. International over here.
Straight rocking
Yay,
it.
thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for guys,
Jamaica
or thank you
podcast
guys
next.
Thank
for
you guys for
watching.
tuning in.
Yeah, we'll see you next time, and then till then, have a good day.
Take care.
Thanks.